Welcome to the Deep Dive. So today we're looking at Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, specifically the film adaptation. You've probably seen the trailer. It's everywhere. Like 400 million views already. It's huge.
Absolutely huge. And we're going to dig into why it's generating so much buzz. Because for this deep dive, our main source is pretty special. It's an exclusive chat we had with Andy Weir himself.
The author, yeah. That's fantastic.
Exactly. He gave us his impressions, talked about how involved he was, really unique insights into the production. So our mission today, unpack what makes this adaptation so interesting, look at Weir's own experience, his hands-on role, and, figure out how the team's bringing this cosmic mystery to the screen. I mean, if the author himself is really psyched, what does that tell us?
Right. And just quickly, for anyone maybe not familiar, Andy Weir, he wrote The Martian, the book that became that great movie, and Artemis, too. So this is coming from someone who really knows their sci-fi, a proven master. Okay, let's unpack this then. For listeners maybe coming in fresh who haven't read the book yet, can you give us the basic setup? What's Project Hail Mary, the movie, about?
Sure thing. So you've got Ryan Gosling playing Ryland Grace. He's an astronaut, but he wakes up with amnesia, no memory.
Okay, classic sci-fi trope, but always effective.
Right, and get this, his, pre-astronaut life. Sixth grade science teacher.
Interesting background.
Yeah. So he finds himself on this solo deep space mission heading toward the Tau Ceti star system. The goal is huge. Save our sun. Other stars, too, apparently. They're all dying from something.
Dying? What's causing it?
That's part of the mystery. It involves these space microbes called astrophage. Nasty little things. And the core of it is he encounters an alien, an unlikely ally.
An alien ally. Okay, now we're talking.
And together, they have to figure out this whole astrophage problem. It's this blend of, hard science puzzles and this very human story, even with the memory loss.
And speaking of the story, what really grabs me is Weir's involvement. He's not just the author whose book got optioned. He's a producer. Yeah. How unusual is that level of, direct input from the author?
It's definitely not the norm. Especially how involved he was. He told us he was involved in giving notes, which you might expect.
Right.
But he was also really happy with how the film is turning out. And the kicker, he was on set for the entire shoot.
The whole time, wow.
The whole time. He joked about getting to pretend I'm a big shot.
Yeah,
and he said he even turned down an assistant. His reasoning was kind of funny. He said, there's almost nothing more useless on a set than the writer.
Oh, harsh. Self-deprecating, maybe.
Totally. But then he admitted, laughing, that there turned out to be a lot more work for me to do than I expected.
I bet. So having him there day in, day out, that suggests they really wanted to get it right, doesn't it? Stick close to the book's spirit.
Exactly. It points to a real commitment to the source material. If a question about the science or a plot point came up, boom, the guy who wrote it is right there.
Okay, so that commitment is clear. And the trailer, that first big reveal, how did Weir feel about that? Did it capture what he wanted?
He seemed pretty pleased, yeah. He said his goal for a trailer is simple. Raise a lot of questions and make me curious and make me want to see the film.
Makes sense.
That's the point. Butts and seats.
His words.
Love it. Straightforward.
And he felt it did that job. He was really happy with it. His only slight reservation, he mentioned, was that it felt a bit spoiler specifically about Rocky, the alien.
Showing too much of Rocky.
Maybe a little more than he'd have preferred. He was like, look, it's totally cool to show that there's going to be an alien because you can't really hide that, right? It's central.
Yeah, impossible to keep under wraps.
But he was glad they didn't show him in all of his glory. They saved the big, full reveal for the actual movie experience. Okay, so balancing the hype and the spoilers, a classic trailer dilemma. So sounds like the trailer worked for Weir overall. What about the specific feel of it? The artistic choices, the visuals, the sound? Did anything stand out there?
Oh, yeah. Weir pointed out the haunting tone, specifically, and how well it worked with that Harry Styles song, Sign of the Times.
That was a great choice. Really evocative.
It really was. And then there's the visual style. Apparently, you could really see the Lord and Miller color palette.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the directors. Spider-Verse.
Exactly. He said it's not necessarily an explosion of color like Spider-Verse, but a very deliberate, intentional use of color. More than just the usual stark whites and blacks you get in some space movies, adds depth.
Nice. And the cinematographer is Greig Fraser, right? Dune, the Batman.
That's the one. Oscar winner. Huge talent. Weir mentioned Fraser doing some clever things with light.
Like what?
Specifically, using the natural light from Tau Ceti shining in through portals and windows on the ship sets.
Oh, wow. That's a subtle detail, but really cool for realism. grounding the alien setting.
Totally. It just shows the level of thought going into the look and feel.
Okay, this is where I get really curious. The actual designs, especially the ships. How do you translate Weir's descriptions, which can be pretty technical, into something visual for a movie? Let's start with the main ship, the Hail Mary.
Right. So the book describes it as pretty small, kind of cramped and confined.
Yeah, very functional, almost claustrophobic.
Exactly. But for the movie, they had to make it bigger. Weir explained the practical need for, space for characters to move around and do things.
Makes sense for filming. You need room for cameras, actors to interact.
Precisely. It's one of those necessary adaptation changes. But they kept the core design elements, the 3 main pillar-like astrophage tanks and the central crew area.
Good, so the essence is still there.
Yeah, and what's really cool is the emphasis on practical effects for the sets inside the ship. Weir described it as a cool-looking ship that actually looks like something that the international space community of modern day would make.
Grounded realism again, I like that. Okay, so that's the Hail Mary. But then you have Rocky's ship, the alien vessel, the Blip A, is it?
That's the one, Blip A. And this is where Weir made a really interesting admission.
Oh,
He basically said he doesn't have a very visual imagination when it comes to stuff like ship design.
really? The author himself?
Yep. He said when he was writing, the ships were just kind of blobs. He even joked he wouldn't know what to do if someone asked him to draw one.
Wow, okay. So the movie designers had a blank slate, almost.
Sort of. He did give him some guidance. He said the ship, the Blip A, which, by the way, is just the human radar name. Apparently, Iridians don't name their ships.
Huh, interesting tidbit.
Yeah. He told the art team it's made of this material called xenonite.
Which is the super strong stuff from the book, right? The MacGuffin material?
Exactly. So the ship should kind of match the general feel and look of the xenonite props they were making. But beyond that, the shape could be whatever shape you think looks cool. The main thing, it had to look alien. Definitely does not look like the human-built Hail Mary.
And the result. Did he like it?
He said the on-screen version is just gorgeous. So it seems like the art team nailed it, even starting from blobs.
It sounds like an incredible team all around. You've got Gosling, Lord and Miller directing, Fraser shooting it, and the screenwriter, Drew Goddard, he adapted The Martian too, didn't he?
He did, and got an Oscar nomination for it. So you have someone who not only knows Weir's work, but has successfully translated it before. That's a huge plus.
Definitely inspires confidence. And Gosling, how did Weir find working with him?
Really positive things to say. He mentioned Gosling is naturally funny, which is key for Ryan Grace's voice, that he had a good natural understanding of comedy and timing, and also that Gosling was really engaged. Apparently, they talk every day about scenes and what's going through Grace's mind.
Wow, daily conversations between the star and the author. That's dedication.
It really is. That kind of collaboration is pretty special. And you also have Sandra Hüller co-starring, another fantastic actor.
Right, so a powerhouse team bringing this to life. And when do we actually get to see it?
The release date is set for March 20th, 2026, coming from Amazon MGM Studios.
Okay, mark the calendars, March 2026. So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? What does all this tell us, and you, the listener, about this Project Hail Mary film?
I think it shows this isn't just, another sci-fi movie based on a book. It really feels like a careful, collaborative effort. You've got this top-tier creative team, director, cinematographer, actors, screenwriter, and they're working incredibly closely with Andy Weir himself, who was present and involved in a way authors rarely are.
Yeah, that deep author involvement seems key. It suggests a real respect for the source material.
Exactly. So what you've hopefully gotten today is a peek behind the curtain. You see how a story like this makes the leap from page to screen. It's about finding that balance, right? Making it work visually, cinematically, but keeping the core, the heart of the book intact. It really speaks to the kind of the joy of discovery in the story itself, but also in the process of making the story come alive like this.
Absolutely. And maybe here's something for you to think about until we can all see it in March 2026. Considering Weir himself admitted he didn't have a super clear picture of Rocky's ship, he called them blobs. How does a film adaptation, which has to create concrete images, change things? Does seeing the movie's version enhance how you imagine the book? Does it maybe overwrite your own mental picture? Or does it just set a new bar for how we imagine these things in future adaptations? Something to chew on, perhaps, as we wait for launch day.